Welcome everyone to the 27th International Conference on Teaching, Education, and Learning. Obviously, our true wish was to be all together in Kuala Lumpur, but hopefully next year we will once again be capable of enjoying each other's pleasure in each other's company. Now, I am Dr. Stephen Koehn at the University of Indianapolis in the United States, and I am also the general manager of 2 television stations, one for the university and one for the city. In addition, I serve as the instructor for the required research methods course in our department. Now, I hope you are all safe and well and discovering how much of a hero you can be during these times. It is unfortunate that it takes a pandemic for society to realize you've always been heroes for your students. A sad example of this, unfortunately, 28 teachers have passed away from COVID-19 in New York City, affecting their 3,600 individual students. This is just one city in the world where students have lost that individual who gave their life so that their students would have a better future. And that is the first thing that research points out regarding being a heroic teacher during heroic times. It is singular. Teaching is an activity that relies on a person, one person to accomplish so much. One person trying to identify and address a student's individual learning needs in order to ensure that that student experiences success. Now, this presentation is for you, that one person who can change the student's world for the better, and continue to do it for many, many years, because a heroic teacher knows that they must create a heroic classroom. A classroom that is safe for everyone, and if that requires online teaching and social distancing and masks and disinfecting everything, well, that heroic teacher knows that these activities are truly demonstrating heroic actions. For example, Stacy Scott showed students how to use their home kitchens as a chemistry lab, and they did creative experiments using simple food products. Teacher Michelle Giles drove to each of her students' homes to deliver birthday cards, something they always did in class and something she did not want to lose in the pandemic. And teacher Brian Stabile had his students use TikTok to create fun exercise videos that used the furniture in their homes as exercise equipment. Teacher Krista Rollins had her students discover how each of them can be a hero by helping out others during the pandemic through lots of unique activities. These cases and more are examples of how millions of teachers in the world are finding ways to connect to each individual student in their class, and not just teach a course. So, heroic teaching is a field whereby teachers find a path to teach each student as an individual and foster an environment where those students learn that learning itself is a heroic behavior. Now, research also indicates that there are a number of factors that contribute to the creation of a heroic teacher and a heroic classroom. But these are the main ones. First, you have to realize society does not understand that even being a mediocre teacher is incredibly hard work. This pandemic has awakened, though, a lot of people to the fact that to teach, is an extremely difficult task, as parents have discovered when they tried to teach their children. Now, heroic teachers are not focused on increasing their time and effort in the classroom. They are focused instead on the individual student, and that is the major difference. First, the heroic teacher establishes a helper relationship with each student. This requires a little extra help with spelling or a little extra help with a college application form. Second, the heroic teacher does not give up on a student. Students perceive this as love, and love has been shown to be a high motivational factor in a person's life. Thus, the perception of a teacher's love for students can motivate all students to work hard. Apology for my voice, trying to get over the end of our teaching semester here. Third, the heroic teacher models heroic behavior, in that they are concerned with improving a situation versus complaining. Heroic teachers don't complain about a situation. It is simple. Heroic teachers are positive. Fourth, the heroic teacher is not afraid to try new activities. and teaching innovations that allow teachers to use new technologies to automate their routine teaching tasks, such as taking attendance or grading, so they can focus more on the personal interactions with their students, are vital. Fifth, the heroic teacher understands the value of applying the theory of an imaginative education. And this theory has been utilized in many classrooms in the world. This theory offers opportunities to engage their students' imaginations and express those imaginations in their task. In particular, to imagine themselves, though, as heroic and learning as heroic. Six, a heroic classroom has a daily challenge for the students. Draw with your weaker hand, perhaps, or creating interesting math problems where letters stand for numbers and the students have to figure out what letter A is number-wise. These and other activities go far. Seventh, an heroic classroom has a cape that the students can wear. Heroic teachers have an item that can serve as a totem of good learning, and they give that award to the student that demonstrates that they are learning in a heroic manner. And it actually can be a cape. 8, and a heroic classroom introduces students as heroes in the field that they are studying. Let me put that again. They introduce them to heroes within that field so that they too can be a hero in that field. So to study a math hero or to study a biology hero or a reading hero, okay, increases their motivation. For example, an heroic classroom students see where there's a need in the field and imagine a solution, similar to one that a hero had priorly done. 9, a heroic classroom invites heroes to come to the classroom and share their path to the students. In particular, students becoming heroes can invite that ordinary person who did something extraordinary. And then lastly, a heroic classroom allows every student to be a hero. And here we have our final example. Susan Rokas was a 73-year-old educator who was known as a teacher who could teach anyone to read. For 50 years, she worked with every student who was diagnosed with an inability to read. She found that some needed hearing implants. She discovered that others had to actually draw their own pictures and put the words to it in order to understand how to read. Each child had a unique situation, and she would find that one approach, singular approach, that would overcome that situation. It was said she could teach a rock to read, and in fact, they gave her a rock once to celebrate that. Hundreds of her students went on to college degrees and led very successful lives. She taught them that they could be readers, and most importantly, that to be a reader was to be heroic. She never gave up on one student in a classroom, and they discovered they were heroes when they learned to read and then improved their lives. And although Susan Rokas passed away from COVID after she retired, her students continue to be as heroic as she was and have honored her online in their graduation speeches across the country. I wish you all a heroic journey in your classrooms this coming year. And remember, they need a heroic teacher in these times especially. Thank you. This is Dr. Stephen Koehn at the University of Indianapolis.